Asha. What is it? In this video, we're going to discuss what Asha means as a concept in the religion Zoroastrianism, also known as Mazda Yasna. We're going to talk about what Zoroastrianism is, so we're also going to talk about the Persian empires that had Zoroastrian as a religion, and then we'll get into the details of what Asha means. Asha is a concept that comes from Zoroastrianism, also known as Mazda Yasna. So let's start there with the religion. Zoroastrianism is the first religion in the world that was founded by an inspired prophet. And here, inspired means something very specific. To have a divine, supernatural being from above come down on earth into the natural world and give humanity the truth is what we mean by a person being inspired. And prophet is when a person has knowledge that they shouldn't have, given the fact that they're just a human being on earth. The prophet in Mazda Yasna is Zarathustra, but the Greeks, giving everything their own name, call the religion Zoroastrianism, and they call the prophet Zoroaster. So there's this guy who's about 30, and he's in a polytheistic religion, as the world was very polytheistic around his birth. He goes to fetch some water, and then from the heavens comes down Ahura Mazda himself, God, creator of everything, and creator of everything other than space and time. And he explains to Zarathustra that there is one God and no God but that God. He teaches monotheism, in other words. Zoroastrianism is the first religion in the world that ever believed in one God and only one God. This predates Islam. It way predates Christianity. It way predates Judaism. It's the first one to speak of heaven and hell. So it's a very influential religion when it comes to history and other religions. Zoroastrianism spread all over the ancient world. If you look at modern day Iran, that's more or less where Zoroaster lived. He was a Persian person living in modern day Iran. And when the Persian Empire, sometimes called the Achaemenid Empire, begins with Cyrus the Great, sometime around 580 something before the year 0, the state religion is Zoroastrian. And Cyrus the Great is Zoroastrian. And so many of the Persians are originally, historically, Zoroastrian. When you are reading about Cyrus the Great in the Bible or the Old Testament and in the Talmud, you'd find in Isaiah a conversation of how the Zoroastrian king, Cyrus the Great, is the savior of the Jews because when he takes over Babylon, he frees the Jews that were enslaved there. He gives them money and resources to go back into Judea and to rebuild their smashed Temple of Solomon. Those were Zoroastrians. They believe in tolerance and loving others. The Parthian Empire that came later was also Zoroastrian. The Sasanian Empire, which came later, was also Zoroastrian. So Zoroastrians have been around for a very long time, and the Persians have been Zoroastrian, not Muslim, for thousands of years. Around the year 640 is when the Persians are slowly converting to Islam. Around 630 or so, Common Era, is when Muhammad is born and starts spreading Islam, another prophet who is inspired. But the point here is that Zoroastrianism is a very ancient religion that is still alive today. There are more than 100,000 people alive today, which is a very small number, who are practicing Zoroastrianism. But when you look at the Zoroastrian ideas and how it influenced other people and other cultures and other religions, it's very important to learn about Zoroastrian ideas. Zoroastrianism is monotheistic. There's one God. And the name of this one universal, all good, not fearing, all loving, all present God is Ahura Mazda. The worship of him is called Mazda Yasna, but of course, Greekifying the word, we call it Zoroastrianism in English. So Ahura Mazda is basically the idea of God. if we were speaking English, or Dios if we were speaking Spanish, or Theos if we were speaking Greek, or Allah if we were speaking Arabic. So Ahura Mazda is this one God, and he's the uncreated creator of absolutely everything. And he has these angels or archangels that are working for him, and there are several of them. One of them is representing his righteousness. The original way to talk about these angels of God is to call them Amesha Spentas. And one of the Amesha Spenta is Asha Vahista. Asha Vahista represents the personification of righteous truth, the most righteous truth. Now we're going to take this Amesha Spenta, Asha Vahista, and we're going to see what that means. And while Asha Vahista is the personification of righteous truth in the universe created by God, Ahura Mazda, Asha by itself is something like God's plan or God's law, the ideal of what should be in all things, order in the universe, divine order, what God intended. And in Zoroastrianism, God gives human beings something special: free will, the ability to move in accordance with God's righteous divine plan and law, or to work against it. So you have the freedom to choose things that are good, so to speak, and things that are bad, so to speak. Of course, this is not supposed to be thought of in terms of good and bad, though there is a clear duality here. The question becomes, with your free will, what will you do? Will you act in accordance with Asha? You are a human being. And so for a rational human being with free will, endowed by Ahura Mazda, what Asha means for you is that with your mind, you think good thoughts, and with your ability to communicate, you speak good words, including what you write, and with your actions, you perform good deeds. And what does good here mean? Here, good means in accordance with the righteous truth, in accordance with God's plan, the way that the divine order was meant to be played out.